Science Space, Science Space, come get your learning at the VOC Science Space. Come get your learning at the VOC Science Space.
Welcome to the VLC Science Space.
I'm Robin.
And I'm Peter.
Today's lab shows double displacement reactions in action. Let's take a look at the materials needed for this lab. Test tubes held in place by a test tube rack. Make sure the test tubes are clearly labeled so the correct solution goes into the correct test tube. You can use masking tape to wrap around each test tube to clearly identify the solution. Pipettes for transferring solution from the test tubes. Again, make sure the pipettes are clearly labeled with the corresponding test tube. A beaker for transferring solutions from stock bottles. The following compounds listed here were used in the double displacement reactions. When viewing the observations and procedures section, the reactants used for each reaction are clearly labeled on individual test tubes. Take note of the correct reactions when writing your lab report. The first compound is sodium hydroxide, followed by hydrochloric acid, sodium carbonate, silver nitrate and iron 3 chloride, barium chloride and magnesium chloride, potassium iodide and lead 2 nitrate, and sodium sulfate and calcium chloride. And don't forget, gloves for safety, and of course, safety glasses, long hair tied back, and a lab coat. Using a pipette, I previously transferred each of calcium chloride into this test tube and silver nitrate into this test tube. To test for a double displacement reaction, we need to pipette each of the contents of those test tubes into the middle test tube. You'll repeat this procedure for each of the reactions listed in your double displacement lab. Take note of each of the labeled test tubes. A small amount of calcium chloride is pipetted into the middle test tube. Then, slowly, drops of silver nitrate are pipetted and added to the same test tube to see the reaction occur. A small amount of barium chloride is pipetted into the middle test tube. Then, slowly, drops of sodium sulfate are added to the same test tube to view the reaction. A small amount of iron 3 chloride is pipetted into the middle test tube. Then, drops of sodium hydroxide are added with a pipette to the middle test tube to view the reaction. Magnesium chloride is pipetted into the middle test tube. Sodium hydroxide is then added to the middle test tube using a pipette to view the reaction. Sodium carbonate has been poured into the test tube from the weigh boat. Using a pipette, hydrochloric acid is transferred to the sodium carbonate test tube to view the reaction. A small amount of lead 2 nitrate is pipetted into the middle test tube. Then, slowly, drops of potassium iodide are added to the middle test tube to view the reaction.